The hidden pain of hyper self-control, where silence became a survival strategy and restraint became mistaken for strength, slowly eroding authentic power and intimacy. This is the archetype of the person who learned early that visibility was dangerous, that speaking invited consequences, and that safety lived in control. Silence protected them. Silence made them sharp. Silence made them observant. But now, in adulthood, that same silence quietly starves connection, vitality, and true influence. The 5 laws of silent power. Nobody teaches you one. The high-impact hook and core. Paradox. You learned how to stay quiet before you learned how to feel safe. Not the peaceful kind of quiet. The alert quiet. The kind where your body is still but your mind is scanning. The kind where you read the room faster than you read yourself. You became powerful without ever meaning to. While others spoke impulsively, you watched. While others revealed themselves, you concealed. While others chased validation, you learned restraint. And it worked. Silence protected you. Silence kept you ahead. Silence made you untouchable. But here's the paradox no one warned you about. The very thing that once gave you power is now quietly draining it. Because silence, when it begins as survival, doesn't stay neutral. It hardens, it calcifies, it becomes an identity. You start believing that power means never revealing need, that control means never reacting, that strength means staying unreadable, even to yourself. So you move through life composed, capable, respected, and yet strangely unseen. You don't feel weak, you feel contained, like a locked room filled with intelligence, depth, and emotion, with no one holding the key. This is the hidden cost of silent power. You learned how to survive the world, but not how to live inside it. And nobody teaches you the laws that govern this kind of power, because from the outside, it looks like mastery, but from the inside, it feels like exile. 2. Definition and psychological authority. Silent power is not personality, it is adaptation. Psychologically, it is rooted in hypervigilance, a nervous system trained to detect threat before threat announces itself. Hypervigilance develops when unpredictability lives too close to home, when emotional safety depends on reading tone, mood, timing, when expression feels risky but observation feels essential. Your brain adapts. The amygdala, the brain's threat detector, becomes finely tuned. Your default mode network, the system responsible for self-reflection, never fully rests. You are always monitoring, not because you're anxious, but because once attention kept you safe. Over time, this creates what psychologists call inhibitory control dominance. You become exceptional at stopping impulses, emotional, verbal, expressive. You don't say what you think, you don't show what you feel, you don't move until you're certain. From the outside, this looks like composure. Inside, it feels like constant compression. This pattern often overlaps with avoidant attachment, not because you don't want connection, but because closeness once came with cost. Distance felt cleaner, control felt safer. So you learned a quiet philosophy. Power is not being affected. Power is not needing. Power is staying contained. But this is only half the truth, because what you built was not power, it was containment without release. A sealed system, and sealed systems eventually collapse. 3. The emotional cost and philosophical weight. Carl Jung once said, what we do not make conscious appears in our lives as fate. Silent power has a fate. The cost is not dramatic. It's subtle, invisible. It's the grief of being admired but not known, the loneliness of being trusted but not touched, the exhaustion of carrying strength that never gets to rest. You sacrifice authenticity for belonging, but belonging never fully arrives because you are present yet withheld, engaged yet guarded, strong yet unreachable. The core fear underneath silent power is not weakness, it is exposure. The fear that if you soften, something will be taken, that if you speak freely, something will be used, that if you reveal need, control will slip. So even joy becomes monitored, even love is filtered, even rest feels unsafe. You don't collapse, you contain. And the tragedy is this: you become the safest person in the room for everyone else, but not for yourself. This is the invisible grief of the hyper-controlled. You are never fully met because you are never fully there. 4. Adult manifestation and the unlearning. Silent power doesn't disappear in adulthood. It evolves. You might notice it here. In relationships, you are the calm one, the listener, the stabilizer, but you struggle to ask for reassurance. You wait to be chosen rather than choosing. In conflict, you don't explode. You withdraw. You become logical, measured, untouchable. But unresolved emotions leak out later as distance or resentment. At work, you are respected, reliable, underestimated. You do more than you claim. You wait to be noticed instead of asserting value. With boundaries, you don't say no loudly. You disappear quietly. You endure longer than you should, then detach completely. Internally, you feel chronically on. Relaxation feels unfamiliar. Stillness feels unsafe. Emotionally, you struggle to identify what you want, because wanting once felt dangerous. These are not personality flaws. They are coping strategies. And healing does not begin by forcing expression. It begins with witnessing the moment you go quiet, witnessing the urge to contain, witnessing the belief that says, if I stay controlled, I stay safe. This is unlearning, not by rebellion, but by permission. 5. The healing, conclusion, and affirmation. Healing silent power does not mean becoming loud, it means becoming real. It begins with inner child reparenting, offering yourself the safety that once depended on silence, letting expression exist without consequence, letting emotion move without judgment. It deepens through shadow work, integrating the parts of you that learn to hide instead of shaming them for surviving. And most importantly, it requires choosing softness on purpose, not everywhere, not with everyone, but somewhere with someone, because true power is not the absence of vulnerability, it is the capacity to choose it without fear. Jung also said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not who adapted, not who survived, but who remained underneath the silence. You don't need to be fixed. You were never broken. You need to be uncontained. Silent power protected you, but integrated power will finally let you live. And if this truth resonated, if you felt seen without being exposed, share this with someone who learned to survive quietly. Because the goal was never to stay silent forever. The goal was always to become whole.